Hello, I'm Nathan Judah. This is Wolverhampton Wanderers reporter. It is Mr. Liam Keane. We have moved away from Marbella. We have gone very briefly back into the West Midlands before flying across the Atlantic, and we are here at Florida Blue, Inter Miami's training HQ, and behind us, the beautiful Chase Stadium, where Wolves will be playing RB Leipzig in the third game of their US pre-season tour. Mr. Liam Keane, it is hot and humid, baby.
Oh yeah. We're slightly fortunate that a couple of times the clouds are coming across, and the direct sun at times is not too bad. It's just come across now, and I'm starting to not sweat as much.
There's a nice little breeze.
But the humidity absolutely kills you, doesn't it? I mean, watching the players out there as well training, and I mean, some of them are like, I mean, better them than me, put it that way.
Yeah, look. The players came across. Gary Neal was out there with his cones, with his sticks. He was organising everything. Players have come across. We sat down there right in front of us. Yeah. Day one, you can't ask for better than that. And just watching them, like you say, the heat was there, but they're ready to go. They're ready to work, and that was a decent session they put in there.
It was, absolutely. Yeah, a bit of warm-up stuff, as you said, right in front of us. I mean, 2 yards in front of us. I mean, we were basically in their way while they were trying to warm up.
Chiquinho at elbow doing that at one point.
And yeah, so a little bit of that work over there. As you say, great to get a bit of an insight after Marbella with the training sessions as we went to there. And then obviously once you get into it, started doing a bit of ball work. Played a lot through the thirds, working on shape, attacking phases of play, sort of everyone in one half of the pitch. Moved over to the far side over there. We moved around and followed them. Doing a bit of 11v11, and there was, with the two 11s, work on one pressing, one playing out from the back, and then letting them play a little bit as well. So yeah, trying to find the balance between it being a light enough session, because they flew yesterday and it's, you know, it's a long flight and it's tiring, especially if you get 5 hour delay like we did. And also
the lounge was nice though.
The lounge was lovely.
A couple of drinks for you?
Only a couple of 10 AM tipples. And then yeah, you know, finding the balance between having it light enough so it's not too heavy on the legs, but also getting enough in there because they've got games coming up. They've got to be ready. Yeah,
and it was interesting. Look, it's very early days, and we're not reading too much into things. There's a lot of plans and there's a lot of things that Gary Neal is trying to look at and see. Some will work, some won't. I just thought it was a bit interesting, especially when they were in front of us working on those back fours and playing it out. There were almost two teams, weren't there? There was that first team in inverted commas where you had Ryan Aïnouri, you had Totti Gomez, you had Craig Dawson, and then you had Pedro Lim on that right hand side. Then they changed. There was a second back four which consisted of Hugo Bueno, Santiago Bueno, Yerson Mosquera, and Matt Doherty. Anything to read in between that, or do you think they might just be trying to see what works, what doesn't work?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be trialing and testing a few things. I think that goes without saying. That's
of course,
the
Nelson Semedo's about to come out.
Exactly, yeah, that's the nature of pre-season, obviously. It's different because it's not a game environment, so you're trying to analyse something that is purely a training environment. And obviously in the first half against Como, in the only game we've seen so far, that we were at, obviously, is Pedro Lim on the right, Hugo Bueno on the left, not Aïnouri, so a slightly different dynamic really there with those kind of players. But to see those two players, two very attacking players, in a four, and it was more of a traditional four, wasn't it, from what we saw, could, you know, lead us to believe that they're going to stick with the four going forward. But interesting to note, especially in the 11 side over here on this side, the midfielder, or one of the midfielders, is dropping in very, very deep, dropping. So as the two centre backs almost shift to the right, one midfielder was dropping in. I saw Tommy Doyle do it quite a lot. Lamina did it quite a lot, dropping in, almost making a 3 there. And then you've got a 10 dropping in a little bit deep into midfield, and then it becomes almost a 5, doesn't it? So it's definitely not as cut and dry as everyone would like to believe. It's not, right, we're playing a back four, that's it. It's very interchangeable.
Yeah, interesting, good point there as well. And you know, you saw Gary Neal in the training session with his arm around Matheus Cunha. He's going to be integral. I think it's the way they want to play this year. Whether it's him dropping back, now you've got Jürgen Strand-Larsen up there at the top. Can he drift to the left? Can he come in behind? I think it's going to be massive. I think they're going to actually build it around Matheus Cunha this season. I really do. I think he's going to be massive into how well Wolves do. No pressure on him at all. Look, a couple of players I want to discuss. One who wasn't here, Hwang Hee-chan, wasn't at training today. Another one who is here, we perhaps didn't spec, and that's Gonzalo Guedes.
Yes, yeah. Well, with Hwang first, nothing to be concerned about. Wasn't training today, will be training tomorrow. All good. No conspiracy theories. And then Guedes, as you mentioned, not someone we expected to be there. Pedence with a calf strain hasn't travelled, but as I've said in my written piece as well, we're fully expecting Pedence at the moment to still be moving on. I think that's the high likelihood. Regardless of the fact that he's been replaced by Guedes on this trip, Guedes is also pretty likely to go. But does it mean that he definitely will? Look, if the player turns around and, you know, says he's a changed man and wants to stay, who knows? Maybe he will stay. but we've been very critical of the way he acted when he was in a Wolves shirt, back in 2022.
Yeah, we won't be changing our minds overnight, will we?
No,
Absolutely
no,
not.
So he's going to have to do a lot, I think, to change the opinion of him, and he's going to have to stop missing from 2 yards out in training as well. That was a little bit of a thing. That was actually slightly out of order, to be honest. But it was. I thought it'd be funny, so I did it.
That's kind of my line. I love it.
I know. I've got nothing against him personally. Of course I don't. But his attitude was.
Likes you. Big fan of you.
I don't know the guy. His attitude was terrible when he was here before. So look, fair play to him. If things change and he stays, he's clearly a talented footballer. Yeah. And if he goes well, I'll be the first one to hold my hands up and say, well done. But I just find that unlikely.
Yeah,
unlikely
you've got to say unlikely. And Gary Neal was quite critical and backed himself with some of the decisions he made last season of letting players go out on loan and the group. And he's very important on that group. And I think there's going to have to be a lot of not backtracking, but showing that you've changed, showing that you want to be here in order for that to happen. And like you say, you think it's probably a bit of a long distance. And if Daniel Podence was fit, you probably would expect Daniel Podence to be here, maybe Gonzalo Guedes not to be. But he's here and he's got a chance, and let's see what happens. Two other people I wanted to mention. A former Wolves player was watching from the sidelines as well, Mr. Leo Campagna.
Yeah, good friend of yours. Oh, you look kind of similar actually.
Wow. Well, he's got bleached
well, not the hair, not the hair. Yeah.
No.
Yes, he was over there chatting with
similar ability on the ball.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't know if that's a compliment to you or a dig at him.
Wow,
it's one of the two. Yeah, he was over here chatting with a couple of the Wolves staff, some of the backroom staff that remember him or know him from his time at the club. So yeah, it was nice for him to come over, have a look. I think there was one or two of the players who will have known him. Yeah. Came and said hello, but obviously the squad's changed a lot, hasn't it?
It's changed a lot. Yeah. Here, so. It's evolved.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there was someone else lurking around the stadium somewhere.
So you've got your top players at Wolves. You've got your people who are going to be playing consistently every week.
You've got your top journos here.
You've got your
Where are they?
1 second.
Who are they? Superb stuff.
You've got your backroom staff. You've got everyone here, and then you've got your lowest of your low. Someone who I think.
Bottom feeder, isn't he? Big time.
He would get in the 21s. I think maybe. Ben should have to work his way up.
Yeah, I think if he put a bit of effort in, he'd be all right.
I cannot confirm or deny, but I am confirming it. There has been a Lionel Messi sighting here today.
He's in the building.
Look, more to come. We've got 13 days of this, so we might get edged closer and closer and closer until we both get arrested and tasered. But we'll try it, because anything for decent content. Look, we're going to be back at training tomorrow. We'll have the second video, and then we'll be on a flight across to Jacksonville. We'll be there for 2 nights, and of course watching Wolverhampton Wanderers against West Ham United. We are buzzing. This content is going to be very, very exciting. We're also sweating profusely, but that's fine. If we're in 4D, it is what it is. £2. Look, if you join today, you've got a full month, you've got all the coverage. It's £2, it's 6p a day. Why would you not be on it?
And without giving anything away, there's one little surprise for
maybe two.
Maybe two surprises for the next. Well, because as I say, if you sign up now, you don't just get the US tour, you get the whole month. So it'll be once the season's underway and everything as well.
Oh yes, I didn't even think of that.
Coming back end of that, there might be 1 or 2 little surprises.
I'm saying 3 surprises.
There you go. So I don't want to leave you on tenterhooks, but maybe just keep an eye out if you do subscribe.
Right, I'm taking you to Dunkin' Donuts for a nice coffee, and you've already had a Twinkie, so you're going to be 4 stone heavier by the time we get back home. That's it. Make sure you join us for expressandstyle.com for all the latest on the US tour, baby.